My name is Chris Santiago. By day, I'm VP of Solutions Engineering at Unravel Data. By night, I'm a music producer and DJ. When data teams first start thinking about migrating to the cloud, the very first step that they need to do is actually create an inventory of the applications and services that are actually used today. Now, today's status quo involves lots of manual interviews with folks talking to the business and really understanding what they're using the cluster for. And let's face it, very, very prone to errors. A better approach is actually doing this from a data-driven way, and that's where Unravel comes in. We connect into the services, we're monitoring the telemetry of the applications, and ultimately can provide you an inventory of applications and their relationships, so that way you can take that information and understand which applications are making it into the cloud and whatnot. In fact, let me go ahead and show you how. As I plan on modernizing my data stack by moving to the cloud, I first need to have a good inventory of how the users are using cluster resources today. Let's show you how Unravel is able to do this within their reports. What you're looking at right now is the Cluster Discovery Report, which provides good insight as to how users are using the cluster today. On the left-hand side, what are the services that they're using today? Out of all the hardware, how much are the resources from a hardware perspective used? We can get even more specific on the type of applications. So we can start getting a breakdown of app type, user, and queue by the number of jobs that are being submitted. We can look at things from a memory perspective, and we can also look at things from a compute perspective. This is telling because this can provide which workloads are taking up a lot of the resources in the cluster today. On the right-hand side, we're looking at server level resources here. We can get a good picture of how CPU and memory resources are utilized throughout the life of this cluster. Here we actually can see that CPU as well as memory is very underutilized and over-provisioned. And we can see that by this red line, which shows me what the actual true capacity is versus what was actually used. You can see here, we don't really ever hit the max from both a CPU and memory perspective. Down below here is a heat map, which shows similar metrics. And so here we can actually see when the cluster is actually being most used. And in this particular case, it looks like memory is the bottleneck here. And if you look at CPU, we can see here that the CPU, not so hot. With this information, I can now start planning appropriately for how I want to start thinking about migrating my workloads to the cloud. Full stack visibility is just that easy when you utilize Unravel. For a full demo or to try it yourself, go to unraveldata.com.